The expectation that you have to have money in the bank, or that, you have to have a house by a certain age, or that you need to be able to pay your bills.
Yeah, super different. Like super different timeline. Like if I told 15-year-old yo that at 30 years old I was single, she would lose her crap. She would lose her crap.
Hey Tithers, this is M.
And this is Yo, and this is Hither and Tither.
Are we good? There you go.
What is up, Tithers? Thank you for joining us today. I'm Yo.
And I'm M. And yeah, thank you so much for being here today. What's up? How's it going?
It's good. I've noticed you've been a little bit in a mood. I wasn't gonna bring this up, but I feel like we need to break the ice here.
Well, thank you for bringing it up.
What's going on?
Well, I am in a little bit of a bad mood. And that's because somebody asked me a question that I really don't like.
What they ask?
And like sometimes people like ask you stuff and it just like rubs you the wrong way, and it's just like I really, really, really dislike. I really don't like it when people ask me how old I am. And I was coming home and somebody asked me how old I was turning. They asked me. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that because it makes me think of like it kind of stresses me out a little bit, like, well, you gotta do this and you gotta do that and you haven't done this yet, and what, like it just.
But you're only 28. It's okay.
Well, yeah. But still.
28. No, I get
wouldn't
that.
know.
Yeah, you guys would never guess how old we are, but on that,
I feel like that's just opening a door for people to be like 45.
yeah, literally, and then we're gonna get like, so like we think we look all young, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, yeah,
16?
like how old are you guys? Yeah, that's just gonna like hurt our
Somebody
feelings.
called me a lady the other day, and I was like, do I really look like the age to be called a lady? Like that lady over there?
No, one time I was calling one of my friends, well, one of my friend's girlfriends, and I was like, Hannah, and she turned around, she's like, ma'am, and I was like, and my friend, of course, he's younger than me. He's like 21, but he started laughing. He was like, did you just call her ma'am? And she was like, I'm from the South. And I was like, it's okay. Yeah, kid. Yeah, hello? Did you just call me ma'am?
There's just so much that, like, there's so much that comes with it, because there's like a big weight on that question, because, okay, so when I was little, right, I always thought that my 30s would never get here.
Right.
I always thought that I would be young forever, that my mom would stay as young as she is. That hurt. I'm gonna cry. That hurt to say that a little bit, because like me getting to my 30s is like my mom is aging, and there's just so much weight on that. People start to get older and you start to see it. Like whenever I remember like being little and people would be like, oh, my mom is 40, and I'd be like, well, my mom's 32 or my mom's 33, and feeling like so like proud that my mom was so young, and I don't know, now it's like my mom is aging and I'm aging, and I can see it in my face, and I can see it in the way I talk and the way people react to me.
Dude, no. Recovery time after the gym, or like after playing. Dude, I'm not. After playing like pickleball or like whatever. Like it is crazy how sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, like my spine hurts, or like I was like, what the heck, and it's kind of crazy. I also think back on like when we were in college and we were like what, 19, 20, and when we would ask people like, oh, how old are you, and they'd be like 27 or 28 or 29, and we'd be like, oh, like you're like older.
Right.
Like I am so sorry for anyone that I ever said that to when I was 19. I had no idea what I was saying. And that is crazy because we're now that age and it doesn't almost, and it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like I thought my 30s would feel like, right? Like, I guess my own expectations of what 30 was going to look like or be like, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, and I do think that one of the reasons why it doesn't necessarily feel like we're in our 30s, it's because our lives are a little bit different. Like I said earlier, you know, like with my mom, she had 4 kids by the age of 33.
That's crazy.
And I have a dog.
A beautiful, beautiful dog.
A little baby dog. And so I look at some of my friends who are the same age as me, some of them even younger than me, with like 2 or 3 kids, you know, and it makes me feel so different.
Well, I have all my cousins. You know, my cousin Nenny, she has 3 kids and she was my baby cousin. Like, she's what, 4 years younger than me? 4 or 3 years younger than me, which back then it seemed like a lot. Like, to me, I was like, I swear I could babysit you type thing, but I couldn't. I was only 3 or 4 years older than her.
But now that we're adults and we're all adults, it just seems a little bit different. But I do still feel like their lives are, like, do they feel like 30-year-olds?
I have no idea.
Because so many people still tell me, like, oh, I still feel like a giant kid.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but you have 5 kids. What are you talking about?
But you're supposed to be parenting.
You have responsibilities.
Yeah. I, however, don't have any. I could be do whatever I want. Yeah. No, and like I have a cousin that's just about my age. She's 10 years, not 10
she's
months.
Just about my age. Just 10 years, you know, give or take.
Oh, she's 10 months younger than me, Jocelyn, and she has 5 kids.
Yeah.
And like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like I go home and people are like, so where's the boyfriend? Like, where's the guy? Or like this and that. And I'm just like,
you tell me.
Yeah, literally. Like, I don't know what to tell you, right?
And that's the hard part, I think. The hard part is the expectations. It's like what people, and even what I expected for myself. When I was little, I'm like, when I'm 30, well, for starters, this now it makes me very scared to say this, but whenever I was little, I would say, like, I don't want to live a day past 30. I always said that because I thought that reaching your 30s would be like deth. Like, I was like, I'm going to have gray hairs and my skin is going to be like all the way down here. And like, it sounds so vain, and I'm not really like a vain person. Not really.
It's not just a lot of that.
But yeah, like, it's just, you know, I thought that I never thought that I would have kids.
Yeah.
I really never thought that I would have kids, but I did always think, you know, I'll be married by that point and I'll have my career and I'll just be doing like everything that a 30-year-old is supposed to do. Or even like thinking the people around me would have 5 kids. They would be millionaires, you know, and all of these expectations and like I said earlier, the weight of having to fulfill those things, when you know, everybody has a different timeline.
Yeah, super different. Like, super different timeline. Like, if I told a 15-year-old, yo, that at 30 years old, I was single, she would lose her crap. She would lose her crap. But, like, there's so much that we don't understand then. And there's so much that people do, like outside people don't understand about our lives. So they can't comprehend why your life has turned out the way it has turned out, right? But I feel like you're really happy with your dog, with your husband in Texas, like with your career and stuff, right? Like, I feel like you have found so much joy, but then sometimes people tend to ask the wrong questions with cautious intention, right? Like, they know, or at least you didn't fulfill their expectation of what your life was going to look like. And so when they try to ask you, like, so where's your kids? Like, when are you guys thinking about kids? Like, now all of a sudden what I found a lot of joy in, you're kind of ruining for me. But I do find joy in that. And I do find, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, people can start comparing your life to others and what
to
they
the expectation
found
of what should be,
right,
what life should look like,
or what they found joy in. And if you don't have that, or if you don't find joy in that, something's wrong with you, which is crazy. Now, fair warning, like, I would like to get married one day and I would like to have children, but I also have found a lot of joy in being single. I too would like to add that not all the time was I happy being single, but when I wasn't happy, I think I was almost like jeopardizing myself, like when we were in our 20s and like all we wanted to do was get married, and like we would find guys all the time and like romanticize and like doing all these things and like just hurting ourselves. I think I did it more than you did, though. Like, I would romanticize about it a lot and then I would end up hurting my own feelings because I was so desperate to find a husband or stuff like that. But then it reached a point where I was like, why am I obsessing over this life or like planning for this life that I'm not living? And so then that's kind of where I shifted my mentality. Like, okay, I have to start planning for a life that I'm currently living, right? So right now, and this happened when I was like 22 or 23, I was like, right now I need to start planning for a career. I need to start planning like what the rest of my life is going to look like. Like, how am I going to provide for myself? How am I going to do this until a guy comes along? And then I can start planning for that. But like, imagine if I would have just not done that at 23 and then fast forward, I'm 30 and I still don't know what to do with my life because I was so
focused on
focused on a life that wasn't planned for me for years ahead. Like, I'm just so grateful that that was an eye-opening experience for me. Now, of course, I run into a different fear now, right? Like, I might get a little emotional, but like now I'm like, ooh, like I'm headed to 30. Now, I'm in no rush to get married. What I do take into consideration though is that I am 30 years old and I want a lot of kids. And I'm like, the math isn't mathing anymore, like by the age of 35, it's considered a geriatric pregnancy. And I'm like, oh, that's high risk. That's this, that's that. And so now I'm like, okay, now what? Right? Because I've been patient. I've been this, I've been that. And I don't care about the guy. I just care about.
I mean, the guy is a big part.
Exactly. Like, I kind of hate that I need B to get to C, right? Like A, me, B, the guy, and C, children. But I'm like, I can't just skip that. Like, there's just, I mean, there is ways, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And I did consider it at some point, but I really don't feel like artificial insemination is the thing for me, even though I did play with that idea like a couple years ago. And I said that if I wasn't married by the age of 32, like I would do that. But I don't know that that's for me.
Yeah. And I want to change the topic a little bit, just not to take away from what you're saying, but just kind of like to make a point. And you touched on it a little bit, but I remember when I was on my journey in college, and I've shared this quite a few times, but I went to college and had to end up dropping out because of some extra crazy things that happened in my life. But I ended up having to drop out. And then we moved to Rexburg. And once we're in Rexburg, I didn't start school right away. So we go to massage therapy school, which is something that you're still doing, but I'm not. And we went to massage therapy school, finished that, and then went on my mission, came back, then went to college. And I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to study? I came up with like 5 different things that I wanted to study. And deep in my heart, I knew that I always wanted to be a teacher. But again, going back to all of the expectations, right? The expectation that you have to have money in the bank, or that, you have to have a house by a certain age, or that you need to be able to pay your bills. And everybody knows that teachers don't get paid what they should.
Yeah.
And I carried that with me for so long that I, without even realizing, stopped myself from reaching my goals.
Ooh.
Because I kept thinking about everybody else says I have to be able to do all of these things. And I kind of forgot myself and what I loved because I was so worried about what everybody else thought I should be doing. And I think that's what happens. That's the sad part about expectations and being a certain age, because unwillingly you listen to all these voices and you feel like, I need a man.
Yeah. I will say I'm very grateful. So my parents used to be really hard on both of us, really, about like getting married and this and that. But I am actually very grateful that now that I'm older, they have laid off on that because we had a divorce in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And not my parents, but we had a divorce in the family, and they saw how ugly that got.
Mm-hmm.
And like how many repercussions that's gonna bring. So now they're like, take your time, like pray about it. God knows, like make sure that you guys date for a while, make sure that like you guys live your life and all these things, right? And so I'm very grateful that my parents have laid off in that sense. But then you have all the people. This is more a, well, I guess it's not even a pet peeve. It's just kind of like I would like for people to change the way they ask things. Like I feel like people tiptoe around asking me like why I'm single, or like if I saw my life going differently, because they think I'm not happy with my life, right? Like, so they want, like, they're curious enough to ask me, but they think it's going to hurt my feelings by asking me. But no, it won't, because I'm happy with the life that I'm living right now. I'm really happy. And you know what? When the time comes, I'll be happy then too. But right now, I'm really happy with what I have. Like, I get to go see my parents. I get to take trips with you. I get to spend time by myself. Like, I think that's something that you have noticed. Like, I love spending time with myself, and sometimes like being around people is just so much for me. And I love that I can just be with myself, and there's no expectation of like, well, I know I'm drained, but someone else needs my attention or something, you know? And I see that in parents a lot, because I work with children, right? Like I do body work, I do massage therapy on children who are struggling to breastfeed. Like that is my thing. And I see how draining sometimes that can be. Yeah. Now, is it a blessing? Do they love it? Of course. But I see how sometimes I look at them and I'm like, how could I ever pay health insurance for a baby? I would have to take them to urgent care if something happened. Like, I'm not ready for kids, and I'm like 30 years old, and sometimes I get clients that are patients that their parents are like 23 years old, right? And I'm like, I am not ready for that. Like, how do you do that?
No shade, but like on the other side, I'm like, how does this lady that doesn't have a job, like I have a job, have a nice car better than mine? Her nails are done, her toes are done, and she's got 5 kids. And here I am with my press-ons because I can't spend $60 going to the nail salon. So like, again, I don't know how they do it, and I guess good on them. Sorry, it keeps sounding like I'm farting. I promise I'm not. If you watch the embarrassing embarrassing moments episodes, you might think I am farting, but I'm not. That's a once in a lifetime thing. But no, for real, like, no shade to, I mean, I said shade in the beginning. No, shade, for real.
I like, how?
do it.
Yeah.
I really don't, because I don't like live paycheck to paycheck, but at the same time, I live like I do. Because I'm always worried about the future. And again, it's because of all the expectations that if something does happen, you're an adult now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
nobody's going to take care of it
Yeah.
but you.
I will say I've been through some hard times and my mom has still like had my back, and it's nice, but still.
We get help as well.
Yes.
Right. My mother-in-law. We get help all the time too, because sometimes there's like things that we're like, oh my goodness, this needs to be taken care of. School was a big thing, like paying off school and whatnot. But still, I think you and I both can agree that despite the fact that there are people who are willing to help us, we always try to figure it out on our own first.
Yeah.
Because that's who we were raised to be. And sometimes asking for help makes you feel like you're not meeting those expectations.
Well, and even then it's like my own expectations as well, right? Like I should be taking care of myself.
Right. My mom shouldn't be doing this for me anymore.
Right. I am 30 dang years old. Like I should be able to pay my bills. I should be able to do this. I should be able to figure it out. And we do. But there's just sometimes, like, guys, the economy is so bad. Like those interests will get you. But that was just a vent. That was just a little rant that I needed to get out of my chest. But eventually we do figure it out, right? And we get out of those like holes that we get put in. But you just can't. And I feel like this is just a thing in general. Like you shouldn't, and we've had similar conversations about other things like this, but like you shouldn't rely on everyone else's help to the point where now you expect their help.
Yeah.
And I feel like that does get to you eventually, right? Like if you just start getting all this help all the time, then that's what you expect, and you're not even grateful for it anymore. Like you take it for granted, and then people stop helping you because now you're a brat. Now you're a brat about
Couldn't be me.
But yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. So what is different about your life that you thought you would have at 15?
I don't have a Lambo. I'm just kidding. I never wanted to have a Lambo. In fact, I always said, like, I don't want to be rich. Like, I just want to be able to pay my bills. And I'm grateful that I can do that. It's interesting because your question said about myself. I don't know. What is it that I'm not? Like, I want to say kids, because although I've never wanted to have kids, I always thought I would. Like, I always thought my perception, or like, because everybody does it, like it's a part of life.
Yeah.
So I always thought that even though it's not something that I want, it would eventually end up happening. And it hasn't.
Well, and like, that's true, because you really have never wanted kids, but we used to say all the time, like we used to get emotional about the videos of like girls getting pregnant together, like best friends getting pregnant together.
Yeah.
And neither of us are pregnant, like
And
neither of us have had kids.
I always say like, oh, I've never wanted to have kids. I always thought my mind would change as I got older.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what I thought, that people's minds just changed. And I'm sure some people do, right? But my mind never changed. In fact, I think it solidified more the fact that I didn't. Yeah, I think that's something that still I struggle with, because even though internally I don't want it, external factors, people are like, "Oh, you will." Like my mom, she always says like, "You will get there. Like you will have kids." And I don't want to. And it feels sometimes so selfish to say that. It feels so selfish to say like, I don't want kids because I know that that is our purpose in life.
But why does it feel selfish other than you feeling like it's the purpose in life? Like,
I think it's just because of my faith. Because of
okay.
my faith and like what I know. But no, it's like I'm always thinking like if something happens, I have to take care of another life and I can't do that. Like I am such an anxious person. I get anxious for so many things, and like something happens, like there's been times where Joji has that like I can't, I'm gonna do it and it's gonna be embarrassing, but he'll do the
Oh yeah,
like the thing where he can't breathe and he's like choking, and I like the first time he did it, I panicked hardcore. And then the second time that he did it, I was like, that's it. It's over. Like, he's gone. It's the end of the world. And I tell Abe, like, I can't do this. Like, you take him. I can't, he's not going to die in my arms. I just can't handle things like that. And like, that's one big worry that I have all the time. Like, imagine how I get with a dog. Like, I can't do that with a human being.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, TBH, I don't know that you would be any worse because I do think that you treat them exactly the way you would treat your kids.
I do. He is my child.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't know that you would be any worse, which is pretty bad. But I don't know that you would be any worse with your actual children. Like, I think it would just be that.
Yeah. Which is bad.
Yeah.
And
I see. Okay.
But I think that's really just the thing with me. Like I really did think that I would have kids, and like I said, that desire never came. And so I do wonder about that. And Abe and I talk about that sometimes. And it used to get to the point, because like I teach, so like being pregnant while being at work sometimes is
maternity
leave, and like I hate even being absent one day from school, so like because it throws everything off. So every, like, I think it's October, I would ask him like, okay, well, if we're gonna do this, now's the time, because then I can be like good for summer and I don't have to take any time off.
So funny.
And so I would always like have that conversation with him. Like 2 years in a row we had that conversation. Now at the point where I'm at, I think it's like pretty solid.
It's gonna die down. Yeah, that's
like I don't ask him anymore. I think I'm pretty good with where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just kids, that's the only thing that you saw different in your life at 30. Because I can go on and on and on about myself.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm very blessed.
Yeah, honestly, like you're a teacher. That's what you wanted to do. You have your husband, you have your dog, you have your house. Like, honestly, I really do think that just children, and that's not even something you wanted, honestly.
Not gonna lie, y'all, like, not only am I married, but like,
he's a good dude.
I wanted that.
Yeah, she did. She was down bad. Yeah.
And that's a story for another day, but like, it took me 5 years.
She did it. Perseverance.
It took me 5 years and having to move to another country.
Yeah,
so like, if you want it, go out and get it. But no, this sounds like really bad, but like I do remember one time my sister was like, I feel like you manifested your life. And I think that's one of the nicest things anybody has ever told me, because I I'm just blessed. I'm just very happy.
Yeah, no, you really are. And I think you have really built your life the way you have wanted it. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's so awesome. And I've told you this, like, I'm so proud of how far you've come, right? Because we had our little break, right? So it was like we spoke the last time that we actually had a conversation, like we're friends and had a deep conversation, was before you went back out to Idaho to go back to college. And then that's when I decided to move to Nashville. And so that's when we kind of split ways. And then now that we're back talking, our lives are completely different. And you have built this whole life that you wanted, really. And I feel like for me, I have built a life that I didn't know I wanted. And it's kind of crazy because I can't say that I manifested my life. I think God knew that my will was not his and that he was going to force me into this because I'm so headstrong. Like, I'm like, I want this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And Heavenly Father was like,
I want to say something
so weird.
And like, if you feel weird about it, like,
go for it.
It'll be, but I remember one time, this was like in like the time that you and I weren't like talking quite a bit. So like every time that I talked to you, it was like, I don't really know what's going on in your life. So I'm just going to ask like the basic questions. And I remember I asked you something about like getting married or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then you said like, why doesn't anybody ever ask me how I have a 6-figure business? And I was like, dang.
Okay. That screams insecure to me.
No, but like, I think
it was true. It was true.
I think it goes to like the life that you didn't know you wanted. Like, and I think it speaks volumes what you were saying earlier about like, you can't just be stuck on like, oh, I need to get married. Let me plan for that. Well, that's not happening right now. So like, because unfortunately, like getting married isn't just something that you pick up and go.
Right.
But building a career is. That is 100% on the work that you put into it. Now, again, it took me 5 years to get that guy I wanted, right? So obviously I put some work into that.
You know what? That's 7 figures worth.
But I think regardless, like, even though, like, I wasn't, the whole 5 years, I wasn't working on getting Abraham, like, I was working on myself, and then it came, and, like, it really was just like, oh, like, this is right.
Yeah.
And so I think you're absolutely right in saying that. While you're trying to get to your goal, it doesn't mean you're not working on it, right? I mean, we both know what you're working on, but while you're working on it,
comment and subscribe.
like, comment and subscribe. You got any friends out there? Just kidding. While you're working on that, you are working on other parts of your life that also have to be built.
Right. Absolutely. No, I will go back to that though. Like, I feel like there was a time in my life that I was very, very bitter about people asking me constantly, like, when I was going to get a boyfriend, or like when I was going to get married, this and that. And I remember this one time, one of my friends, she said she was like, she worked in oncology, like oncology research and stuff, like cancer research. And she would be so mad every time that someone asked her, like, so do you have a guy now, or do you have a man now? She's like, no, but I just found the cure to cancer. Like, hello, right? So it was just so interesting. And so ever since she said that, I was like, you know what? Like, you're right. Like, I'm doing great things. And although I was bitter for a little bit, I think I have found a lot of joy in the life that I didn't know I could be joyful in. Because again, for a second there, I went from being bitter because I was not married to being bitter that everyone wanted me to be married. And then now I'm like, screw what everyone else thinks. Like, the reason why they keep asking me these things is maybe because I've been so bitter. Like, maybe in their head, they're like, maybe she just needs a man. Like, for her to feel better about her life, you know? Because exactly. So, but that didn't work. But like, they were like, she just needs to find, like, not be lonely, or like, but really it was just my attitude, you know? And like, maybe they thought that a guy would make me feel better, but maybe it was not, maybe it was. You okay, Josie? Come here, buddy.
Come say hi.
Come here, Josie. Come here. Oh, good job.
Come here. This is my son. For those of you who haven't met him yet.
Yeah. You want some rubbies? You want rubbies? But yeah, you know, like, maybe all I needed was a change of attitude for people to realize that, like, oh wait,
You're
she
okay.
is happy with the life she's living. Yeah, like, she doesn't need external validation, or she doesn't need external happiness to be comfortable with who she is, or whatever, you know? And then I also feel like finding that love for myself outside of somebody else and the validation has actually made me more prepared to bring someone else into my life.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I think one of the biggest things that I have learned from all of these expectations, and I say that I've learned and I have been able to adapt it in a lot of areas of my life, but there are places where I'm still working on it. It's choosing you. Earlier when you asked me about, you know, something in my life, it made me think about my dad.
Okay.
Because I feel like that is one part of my life where I wish things weren't the way that they are, because I do wish that I had simply put, a dad, right? Somebody that I could talk to, and somebody that I could, like, hey dad, like, I need help with changing my tire, or, you know, yes, I have my husband, but my husband is very different to like a dad.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, bless you.
You can't.
I do think that that's one of the areas in my life that I wish that I had. But it's also the area in my life where I learned the most about choosing me. Because there was many times where I felt like, well, he's my dad. I have to do this. Like, I have to go visit him, or I have to, you know, fill in the blank. There were so many expectations. And this is kind of like silly, but I remember going on a vacation with my cousin once, and I kept like buying like souvenirs for my dad. And she was like, how many things can you buy for your dad? And I was like, he expects a lot. And she looked at me like that. You know, she's like, you got him stuff already. Like, chill, like, buy something for yourself.
Or others.
Or others, right? But I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that when I got home, I knew my dad was going to be like, what did you bring me? And that is the one aspect of my life where I have learned that I need to choose me. Because in my life, I am the one that matters the most.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people need to understand. You know, we do the aitas a lot.
Yeah.
And people are always wondering, like, and a lot of the times we're like, you gotta do you.
Yeah.
You gotta speak out for yourself. You gotta follow your dreams. And sometimes that means leaving people behind.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially someone that, like, you thought it was supposed to be unconditional love, you know, like, all of these things are, like, important people in your life. Like, sometimes you just have to do you, and it's sad. It is so sad, but it just is what it is sometimes. And
Yeah. What do you think is what you've learned the most?
I also think choosing me has been something that I have learned, but I think I learned it a little too well at a point in my life, and now I'm learning to find a balance. Like it was like I care too much of what people think. I'm a people pleaser. I'm this, and out of being a people pleaser, I do think that I also, and the way I grew up, I also, and you know this about me, I also feel like I developed a habit of lying, like pathological lying, because I was a huge people pleaser, or like I felt like, I don't know, like I think I didn't like the way my life was going, that I felt like I needed to lie about it to like meet the other person's expectation or meet my own expectation of what I should have been feeling or living, or what I thought was what I needed to be doing, right? Instead of just changing my life, I would lie about me changing my life, I guess. And then I swung the pendulum way too hard, and then I became me, and only me, and the world revolves around me. And I'm just gonna say it the way it is, and you have to eat it. And it just is what it is. And now I'm like, okay, well, yes, it is about you, and yes, you care about yourself, but also care for the people that care about you.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to be willing to work with the people that are caring for you and that are understanding you. Like, give people the treatment that they give you, in a sense, right? So, like, I guess the first time around I learned it, like, oh, people fed me this negative thing, so I'm going to feed that back. And that's the only thing that I would ever feed back, was like the negative reinforcement that they were giving me.
Yeah.
And now I'm learning to do the positive.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning to also fill other people's cups that fill my cup. And so I guess I'm just learning to be, at first I learned to be selfish, and now I'm learning to be selfless. Without getting abused.
Sometimes that's the process, right?
Yeah.
You have to go from one extreme to the other in order for you to find the perfect balance.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about all of the things that, you know, we expect, but I'm sure there's like something that you're just like, sometimes I just need to do this.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that you're just like, sometimes I have to just do this in order to like decompress or like take away from any stresses or something in your life? I can binge watch TV.
I love a quiet, pitch dark room under covers and just lay there. Like, that is my way to decompress. Like, literally, me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
For everyone's safety.
Just let me do my
Yeah,
thing.
just let me be with myself. Nothing is wrong. But if you don't let me do that, something will be wrong.
Yeah.
Right? But that's just what I like to do. I literally just like to sit there and sit with my thoughts, silence. Sometimes it's not even my thoughts. Sometimes it's pure silence. And dark.
Yeah.
Like, turn off all of the
Process.
senses. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. There have been times where I have told Abe, I just need to turn on the TV and rot. Those are my exact words. Theaters, I know we all feel the expectations. I know we all feel like there are certain things that we need to do, or places that we need to be in, or goals that we need to have met by a certain time. But comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh my gosh.
We all know that. And I just always like to remember that I am who I am for a reason, and the world wouldn't be what it is without me.
Yeah.
As minute as I might be, or as small as my circle may be, we tend to steal the happiness from ourselves. We choose to be happy. We find our path and our journey. And don't don't let that be taken away from you.
Yeah, and don't listen to, well, learn what advice you're willing to absorb and what advice you're willing to discard. You don't have to be rude about advice that you discard, but you can just nod your head and not absorb it. But also keep in mind like how your words can come across to somebody else as well, or like your questions or how you say things and imposing your sense or your definition of joy on somebody else.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to our podcast today. And if you're listening to us on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yep.
And thank you so much again. And we hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Adios.
Adios.